Okay, welcome everybody to day 20 of our Bhagavad-gītā reading. Today we'll be concluding the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad-gītā. Oh my God, what a ride we've been on. And let me start here with this statement. This is really important, if we look at the Gita itself, and especially if we look at these last chapters, these middle 6 chapters that we've been reading, there's a pattern going on here. It's clear as a bell. It shouldn't escape us, and it's undeniable that the Bhagavad-gītā is incessantly establishing Kṛṣṇa as the supreme absolute truth spoken of in the earlier Vedic texts. You see, this itihasa, these later Vedic texts are there to clarify, make more clear what was there in the earlier texts, like the Vedas and the Upanishads. And those ancient texts speak of the absolute truth. They speak of that supreme existence, that supreme consciousness that's behind everything. And in chapter 7, in chapter 8, chapter 9, chapter 10, and now in chapter 11, we've been consistently, persistently, repeatedly, incessantly hearing how that great, limitless, absolute truth is Kṛṣṇa. It's right there. It's that form of Kṛṣṇa, that two-armed, beautiful form on that battlefield. It is that absolute truth. And in all the different ways, we've seen how he's got heads and eyes and feet everywhere, like we heard of in the Purusha Sukta. There's an original person that's like that. We've heard how everything emanates from him, like we hear at the beginning of the Vedanta Sutra. We've heard that he's pervading everything, like Lord Vishnu. We've heard that all the material elements are his own energy, that he's directing it all. We've heard so much again and again and again, and it's echoing the descriptions of the absolute truth as we've heard in the Shruti, in these ancient texts. What we're going to read today, now Arjuna's seen this terrifying vision of the Vishvarupa as Kṛṣṇa, as the element of time within the universe, and he's had a very unsettling, scary vision of watching all of these people that he knows being ground and grinded, right in the very teeth of the universal form. This is quite shocking, and it's overwhelming. Now we're going to hear Arjuna offer prayers to Kṛṣṇa. This will be the last time in the Gita that we're going to hear this great, at length, incessant kind of establishing of Kṛṣṇa as the absolute truth. There's definitely going to be mention of that and talk of that, but like we've been getting these, try to understand. It's like we've been getting these long arguments, these long presentations to establish this, not just to assert it, but to assert it and establish it, to lay out all the evidence and make all the connections so that we should have no doubt about this. The Advaitins or the impersonalists who comment on Bhagavad-gītā, they struggle with this book because it is so thorough and so adamant and so repetitive, and just covering all the bases again and again and again. It's not an easy one it's not easy to explain all this away. Now we're going to have Arjuna one last time establishing Kṛṣṇa as that supreme absolute truth. And then we're going to hear a comparison of Bhakti to all the other different Vedic paths, and what makes it so special, which is, again, the theme of the middle 6 chapters of the Bhagavad-gītā. So let's start with text 36, and I think it's a very beautiful verse, and it really does have this Bhakti element to it, strong Bhakti element to it. Arjuna's now, he's all kind of shaken up. I think we need to start with text 35, actually. Sanjaya, we're back with Sanjaya speaking to Dhritarashtra. O king, after hearing the words of the Supreme Personality of God, at time I am, so on, Arjuna, you have a choice now, right? You have a choice to either kind of ignore me and ignore my will, or to play a part in my will. But there's nothing you can do about it. Time is taking everything away. So Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, "O king, after hearing these words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trembling Arjuna offered obeisances with folded hands again and again. He fearfully spoke to Lord Kṛṣṇa in a faltering voice as follows." And now listen to the first thing that comes out of his mouth. This is a real bhakti message here. He said, Arjuna said, "O master of the senses, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone becomes attached to you. Tava prakritya, by your glories, jagat prarishati, the universe becomes joyous. And then anurajyate, and they become attached to you, right? This is prakirtya, tava prakirtya, your glories. Kirti means glories. This is where kirtan comes from. So by Prabhupada translates it poetically, upon hearing your name, the world becomes joyful, right? The world becomes joyful upon hearing your name. And thus, naturally, everyone becomes attached to you, right? If we just expose ourselves to beautiful Kṛṣṇa, the glories of Kṛṣṇa, as they're presented in Bhagavatam, one will naturally develop an attraction to him. He says, although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid and they flee here and there, and all this is rightly done. O great one, greater even than Brahma, right? Here's the glorification, right? You're greater than Brahma. You are that one, you are the original creator. Why then should they not offer their respectful obeisances unto you, O limitless one, God of gods, refuge of the universe? Again and again, we're hearing these things. You are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation. We've been hearing chapter after chapter after chapter of this spoken in so many different ways. You are the original personality of Godhead, right? The Adideva. You are the oldest person, the Purusha Puranaha. You are the knower of everything. You are the ultimate sanctuary of this manifest cosmic world. You are the knower of everything. You are all that is knowable. You are the supreme refuge above the material modes. O limitless form, Ananta Rupa, unlimited form. Right? This is something that the impersonalists, they'll have to try to find a way to explain that away. But here it is. It's not even saying you have unlimited forms. That would be a plural word. That would be Rupani, Ananta Rupani. This is Ananta Rupa. This form that I'm looking at, you, Kṛṣṇa, have just shown me that you are unlimited, that your form is unlimited, that everything is in it, that there's nothing that exists that's not within this form. It's unlimited, right? This is form that's not limited. It's not illusory. It's real, and it's transcendental. It's spiritual because it has no limit, right? This whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. That's text 38. And then he begins to offer, he goes on though, you are the air, you are the supreme controller, you are fire, you are water, you are the moon, you are Brahma, the first living creature, you are the great grandfather. On and on and on, right? You are that refuge that's dependable. You are that only refuge that's dependable. You are the origin of everything. It's establishing Kṛṣṇa not just as the supreme absolute truth spoken of as in the earlier Vedic text, but as the shelter, right? As the place where one naturally goes, the one that one naturally connects with, to find refuge. So then he prays in text 39, I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times, and again, and yet again. Obeisances to you from the front, from behind, from all sides. O unbounded power, you are the master of limitless might. You are all pervading, and thus you are everything. Right? You, Kṛṣṇa. Right? Now, in text 41 through 44, there's a shift here where Arjuna has to apologize. I now get it. not only did we hear all this described, right? These constant and incessant descriptions of Arjuna of Krishna as the absolute truth. Then it was shown to us visually, in the 11th chapter, where he just demonstrated that all the universe is my energy. It's all within me. And now Arjuna's seen this incredibly moving and jarring display. And he's saying, I've been treating you like you're my friend, like we're equals. We're not equals. Think about this. Arjuna at the end of the Bhagavad-gītā is going to say, my illusion is now gone, right? Does Arjuna show his universal form? No, right? Only Krishna shows the universal form. It's only him. It's that form. It's not that we are one with Krishna. We're one in one sense, but we are definitely limited, and he is unlimited, right? We are Brahman in the sense that we are eternal, in the sense that we are conscious and blissful by nature, but we can't say that we're unlimited, or we can't in the sense that Krishna says it about himself, or that it is said about himself, right? He is the origin. He is the one from which we derive our own life, right? Our own energy. We are made of his energy. So Arjuna is saying, I've been treating you like you're my equal. You're not my equal. And he doesn't say, when I'll become enlightened, I'll realize you're my equal. Never, right? He's saying, ontologically, you are that support of everything, and I'm not. So he says, he prays, thinking of you as my friend, I've rashly addressed you, O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, right? He doesn't say Sri Krishna, right? That would be the more proper way to speak of him. O Yadava, you're not just of the Yadu dynasty. You are the head, you could say, of the Yadu dynasty, the greatest of the Yadu dynasty. And I speak of you as, oh, my friend, oh, Saketi. I say, hey, Krishna, hey, Yadava, hey, Saketi, hey, my friend. Not knowing your glories. Now you've shown me your glories, right? Again, this is an incessant presentation that's being made. We've heard it described in great detail. Then we heard that all the sages say this, that Vyasa says it, that Narada says it, that Asita, Devala says it. Arjuna says, Krishna, you're telling it to me yourself now, right? And then Krishna showed it visually. Now he's saying, not knowing your glories, I've said, hey, Krishna, hey, buddy, like that. Please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times, jesting as we relaxed, lay on the same bed, or sat and ate together, sometimes alone and sometimes in front of many friends. I've spoken of myself, and Krishna, I've teased him. Oh, infallible one, please excuse me for all these offenses. You are the father of this complete cosmic manifestation, of the moving and the non-moving. You are its worshipable chief, the supreme spiritual master. No one is greater than you, nor can anyone be one with you. How then could there be anyone greater than you within the three worlds, O Lord of immeasurable power? You are the supreme Lord to be worshipped by every living being. Thus I fall. He doesn't say, unless you want to walk another path where you just go within yourself. No. Right? Thus I fall down to offer my respectful obeisances and ask your mercy. As a father tolerates the impudent son, as the friend the impertinence of a friend, or as a husband the familiarity of the wife, please tolerate the wrongs I may have done you. I love you, and out of your love for me, please forgive the way that I've dealt with you, as if you're my equal, as if you're my friend. Okay, so he's in this state. He's shaken up, and he's not seeing Krishna as his friend anymore. He's seeing Krishna as so far beyond him. Things are going to settle down a bit. Okay. And so in text 45, he's going to say, I get it now. I know who you are. Could you show me the form of Vishnu that I've always heard so much about, the four-arm form? Please show me that. So he says, after seeing this universal form, It's very terrifying. Everybody hears that when you see Vishnu, oh, it's so satisfying. He's got this mild smile. He's not crushing anyone between his teeth, you know. He's got this beautiful mild smile. He's so sweet. He's got the beautiful garland on, and he's effulgent, and just in a nice way. After seeing this universal form, which I've never seen before, I'm gladdened, but at the same time my mind is disturbed with fear. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again your form as the personality of Godhead, O Lord of Lords, O abode of the universe. O universal form, O thousand-armed Lord, I wish to see you in your four-armed form, with helmeted head and the club, wheel, conch, and lotus flower in your hands. I long to see you in that form. Okay, so he's made a request. In text 47, Kṛṣṇa says, my dear Arjuna, happily I have shown you by my internal potency, the supreme universal form within the material world. No one before you has seen this primal form, unlimited and full of glaring effulgence. And now we saw earlier in the Mahabharata that Kṛṣṇa demonstrated a universal form to Duryodhana, but he didn't show him that time element, right? He showed him something of the fact that the devas and all the universe is emanating from him. But he didn't show him this force of time, which he just showed Arjuna, right? This ultimately all-powerful destructive force in the material realm. So now text 48. Now, this is the point that I wanted to make. I mentioned it briefly earlier. I want to go into it in more detail right now. And that is that the Bhagavad-gītā is a comparative study. Always keep that in mind, a comparative study. And it's contrasting Bhakti with all the other Vedic paths. That's what's going on in Bhagavad-gītā. And it's happening again and again and again. At the very end of the Bhagavad-gītā, Kṛṣṇa say, take all the Vedic paths, all the dharmas, and just abandon them and surrender to me in bhakti, right? We've heard about all different kinds of paths. We've heard about karma yoga. We've heard about Ashtanga yoga. In the 4th chapter, we heard a whole list of different ways that people are performing different types of sacrifice. We've heard about the dharma of being a warrior and other types of dharmas. We've heard about the dharmas of the grihastas and the sannyasis and so many different things. The Bhagavad-gītā is validating all these paths, but it's contrasting them with bhakti and showing how bhakti is faster, it's easier, but not just that, but that it's the most essential and direct because it's going right to Sri Kṛṣṇa, who is that supreme absolute truth. Complete, right? The full, complete absolute truth is in that form, right? If that form is not there, if it's just his impersonal effulgence, that's him, but it's not the complete him. If it's to his expansion as Vishnu, that's him, but it's not all of him. But Kṛṣṇa in that two-arm form is actually the full Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan in one unlimited Ananta Rupam, an unlimited form. So that's something that we're going to see that when one serves that form, meditates on that form, makes that form their everything in life, this is the conclusion of all the dharmas. This is the ultimate dharma. That it's going to be at the end of the Gita. Kṛṣṇa's going to say, abandon all dharmas and surrender unto me. And then at the beginning of the Bhagavatam, it's going to be said that Savai Pungsa, for all humanity, Paro Dharmo, the highest dharma, right? Yato Bhakti Radhoksaje is devotional service. Ahoitiki Apratiyata, unmotivated, uninterrupted devotional service. Yayatma Supersidity is that which gives complete satisfaction to the soul. Okay. So, and we can go on and on about the context of that and so on. It's very thorough. So now Kṛṣṇa's saying he's gonna go shift into this comparative study mode, right? He's like a teacher and he's got a chalkboard out and he's showing there's on this side there's this and on that side there's that. O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine. For neither by studying the Vedas, right? You can't do it through Vedic yagna. um, nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charity, nor by pious activities, nor by severe penances can I be seen in this form in the material world. These are all valid Vedic dharmas or Vedic practices or practices of yoga, right? He's comparing the different practices that are out there, the different dharmas that are out there, the different Vedic paths that have been described in the earlier Vedic literatures, like the Karma Kanda section of the Vedic literatures. It describes, here he says, and he's saying again, no, 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 not by this, not by that, not by that, not by that. Can you see my form for real? You won't be granted that vision. It will be beyond you, right? Not Veda Yagna, not the Vedic sacrifices. Not Dana, charity is taught in the Karma Kanda section. Not Kriyabhir, ritual acts. None of that will reveal, none of that will give you access. They are limited, those paths. And then he speaks from the Jnana Kanda, na adhyayana, not the study of the Vedas, right? The kind of necessary practices to go deep into study of the self, right? That will not give you access to see my form, right? You'll read about that in the Jnana Kanda in the Upanishads. And then also he says, not by tapas, right? Nor by severe penances. He says, tapobhir ugrahai, these severe penances, severe austerities that are taught. These are spoken about in the Upanishads or in the Manu Smriti and the codes of Manu, the different kind of austerities that one can perform. He's saying none of these. Comparative study. Bhakti will show you, can reveal to you, can give you access to see my unlimited form, to have that most confidential vision. None of the other paths will give you that. So that's text 48. In text 49, you have been perturbed and bewildered by seeing this horrible feature of mine. Now let it be finished. My devotee, be free again from all disturbances. With a peaceful mind, you can now see the form you desire. And then back to Sanjaya. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, having spoken thus to Arjuna, displayed his real four-armed form. He saw him as Lord Vishnu, right? And at last showed his two-armed form, thus encouraging fearful Arjuna. So we're seeing that within the two-armed form of Kṛṣṇa is the four-armed form of Vishnu and is the unlimited universal form, all within that form of Kṛṣṇa, Ananta Rupa. When Arjuna thus saw Kṛṣṇa in his original form, he said, "O Janardana, seeing this human-like form so very beautiful." Right? Actually, the word here, I think, is, let me just make sure, saumyam. Yeah, saumya means like gentle, right? Now seeing you in this gentle form, right? I was seeing a really violent form, really destructive form. Now I'm seeing you in this beautiful, gentle form. Oh, Janardana, oh Kṛṣṇa, seeing you in this human-like form, so very beautiful. I'm now composed in mind, and I'm restored to my original nature. Then Kṛṣṇa says, my dear Arjuna, this form of mine you are now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form which is so dear. Now text 53, he's going to say about the exact same thing that he said back in 48. Listen to this. The form you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am, right? He repeated all those things because now he's talking about his two-armed form specifically, right? My dear Arjuna, now text 54 and 55 conclude chapter 11. These are some powerful verses, and we're right back to the comparative study, thorough comparative study. What is so special about bhakti? How bhakti can do for the yogi what no other yoga can do, because it's going right to the very heart of everything. That ultimately there's a divine person behind everything, and this is turning to that person with love. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service, ananya bhakti, can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. And then text 55. Beautiful verse. And this speaks a lot to how the path of bhakti is practiced. My dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, this ananya bhakti, this bhakti that's not directed anywhere else, my devotion is fully going to that form of Krishna. He who engages in my pure devotional service, free from all contaminations of fruitive activities. Right? Mat karma krit, free from any material desires that one tries to achieve through good karma. Free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation. He who works for me, that's mat karma krit, who makes me the supreme goal of their life, mat padama, right? And who is friendly to every living being, right? That's a nirvaira, right? Nirvaira sarva bhuteshu. It has no hostility towards any living being. He says, mat karma krit, right? Offering all your actions to Krishna. Mat padama, making him the highest aspiration in your life. And then what you need to let go of, he says, sangha varjitaha, letting go of all of your attachments. And then nirvaira sarva bhuteshu, without any hostility towards any other living being. That person who serves me in that way, mad bhaktaha, becomes my devotee, that person surely comes to me. He says, he certainly comes to me. So this is the conclusion of the 11th chapter. That this two-arm form. Well, let's look at all the different things that we can draw from this 11th chapter. What has this 11th chapter demonstrated? One, it's demonstrated that Arjuna understood that his victory on this battlefield was dependent on the power of Krishna alone, right? He saw that this universal form and the power of time was going to determine what happens on that battlefield, right? He may have often thought, I have power by which I can attain victory. Now he's seeing clearly, any victory that I have is by the power of Krishna. And that his power, Arjuna's power, lies in his freedom to choose to live in harmony or out of harmony with Krishna's will, right? That's become very clear to him. I just have this choice to live by Krishna's will or not. Anything else is happening by his power. That's my power. That's the power that's been granted to me. And then we've heard things about Krishna's form, right? It's been demonstrated that the form of Krishna is the original, complete form of the absolute truth, because he's the source of everything. We've heard that the material elements like the air, the water, the fire, the celestial bodies, the sun, the moon, all the planets, the celestial beings, the devas, the asuras, the great sages, the Gandharvas, etc., etc., even Vishnu himself, the original universal Purusha, that they're all there in Krishna's two-armed form, right? They're all within it, in that Ananta Rupam, that his form is unlimited. It's not like any other form, like any material form, right? And we've also seen that, or it's been established, that the original form of Krishna can be loved, right? Those other forms can't be loved. The universal form can't be loved. But when Arjuna is relating with Krishna in his two-armed form, he can love him like a brother, like a dearest friend, right? And then in the end, we saw the way to take shelter of Krishna is through this ananya bhakti, this pure, undivided bhakti, and that all other practices, comparatively, fall short. It can reveal that supreme, the beautiful, gentle, loving, supreme being that's behind everything, and none of the other Vedic practices can reveal that. This is a powerful statement. And tomorrow we'll go into chapter 12, a short but very important chapter that'll follow right up on this, because Arjuna, based on what we've just heard, Arjuna is going to ask a really important question. Well, some people worship you this way and some people worship you that way. Which way is better? Right? Which way is better? Really important stuff. Incredibly beautiful conclusive chapter tomorrow for chapter 12. That's all for today. Again, I always enjoy spending this time with you, and let us continue. Please enjoy your reading of the completion of the 11th chapter of the Bhagavad-gītā today. Thank you. Hari Om Tat Sat.